change agent, and you can really do something that you can be proud of even after you graduate. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Regani. And you guys saw that we're recording, and that's because there are some other folks who are interested, but who couldn't make this meeting time. And I also just want to make sure you know who's talking to you. Mauricio and I are the folks from the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So Dr. Regani is a leader in arts, or in science, in the sciences.
My official title is Associate Dean for Natural and Applied Sciences. It's a long title, but I work with all math, science, engineering, and pre-health programs, everything related to STEM, basically.
And Mauricio and I run the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and one of the things we want to make sure you all know is that the UIF is not just for students in the sciences, it's for interdisciplinary students across all majors. Okay, so Christina, why don't you give us a little insight?
So I'm Christina, and basically I'm a marketing major, and UIF pretty much is about innovation in general. And so you come up with your own ideas to make changes on campus, and then like after you're accepted, like you basically create ideas with a team. So at first you may have like a great innovative idea, and depending on like what your group is like, or if you want to continue that same idea, then you can either pursue that same idea as a team or just like possibly individual, but it's recommended that you work with your team and like formulate like a similar like idea and that you work together with them. And like one of the highlights of UIF, which I'm not sure if we're doing this year or not, but usually like every year, like they'll take a trip to Stanford University, which is a school that has founded this UIF program, and we'll go to Stanford University in California, and everything's paid for. And you'll learn more with the other UIFs because there's many UIFs like all over like the globe. Like it's an international program, and like also like in America as well. So there's many universities who have University Innovation Fellows programs. So you'll meet up with like all of those UIFs, and then you'll also just be enhancing and improving on your training like in the innovation area. And it'll just be like speaker series, I believe, like many like different speakers will come, and it'll be like a really great time. So like that's one of the really great highlights of the program. And after you're accepted, like they take you through a 6-week training. So I'm just one out of the 4 in my cohort, so there's only 4 in the Loyola cohort. And basically like after I was accepted, like we all had to do a training, and pretty much we had to watch like different videos, take notes on it, answer questions. Sometimes it was like a lot of work, but you work as a team, so it's easier because you have your team to work with. And pretty much like after like the 6-week training, like it's pretty much just up to you, like as far as like how much you want to get done, because if no one in the team is like really working, then like not much will get done. But like if you're actually always being ahead of the ball, like how my team and how other cohorts have been in the past, like we've always like just advanced and got things done, then it'll work out. But it really just depends on like how fast you're working, because of course with COVID, like my team hasn't been able to like literally start the program that we want to do, which basically like I can give like a brief rundown, which basically we are trying to improve like the research centers on campus. So like eventually we want to spread it out to like all the disciplines, but right now we're focusing on STEM majors with the Alana program, which is like one of the minority programs. So we're pretty much starting it off in a small group, and then we're going to branch it out into everyone. But like starting off in junior year, we're going to start off with a small group, and then we're going to expand it to like everyone. So that's like our like cohort's idea is pretty much working on research and improving the research opportunities that are available to students, well, specifically underclassmen. So yeah, after like you take training, then you pretty much just have to like do work, and it's not hard work. It's just it's fun work. Like it's work, but it's like you enjoy doing it because it's like your idea. Like you pick your idea, so that's why it's really important to like pick an idea that you wouldn't mind working on every day, and like you meet with your cohort, and it's a great time. And you know, you get a lot of leadership skills because you're literally creating ideas and implementing them on campus. So it's a great resume builder as well, because you're literally like taking charge of like your school's innovation, and you're like creating these new ideas and implementing them on campus.
Do you all have questions about how the application process works, or about, you know, what kind of projects you might do? Do you have ideas yet? Which you don't have to, but do you have any thoughts yet about what you might want to work on?
I thought a little bit about like working with the York Road Initiative. I don't know how like far-fetched this would be, but if they're trying to bring like more York Road into Loyola. So if we were able to use meal swipes or meal points at off-campus locations on York Road, that might give the businesses on York Road more revenue, as well as incorporate the Loyola community into there.
I love that idea, Alexa. Love it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, there is no really, don't doubt about any ideas that you have. You have to dream big, and you have to allow yourself to think outside the box. So something like that, for example, if you ask a faculty, they may not think about that. So that's why we need the students to think about that. Suddenly, you know, you do that when it becomes a program that continues. So that's great.
Ashley, do you feel clear on like what the application, the deadlines, and the process? Does that all seem straightforward?
Could you just go over it really quick?
Sure. Dr. Ghani, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. I can perhaps find the link to the website and for the share it with you. But basically, what we do, we collect ideas. Your application part of your application is to submit ideas, and then we select the finalists, and we interview the finalists to learn a little bit more about the idea. More important, what is more important is really, because the ideas could change. You can start with, Christina could tell you that you may start with an idea, then you meet with other member of the group, and you may decide to switch and to work on a totally different idea. So you are not obligated to continue with the idea that you presented first. It's a part of the whole that design thinking, human-centered design, is to look and learn more and then revise and change it as it needed. Really, what we are interested in you, basically. Are you a change agent? Are you a type of person who is a status quo type of person who's happy with what it is and they don't want to change anything? Or are you someone who has that ability to see, have the vision to be able to start the project, to be able not only start, but get it to a point that it becomes part of our campus, basically? Do you have that passion and drive for that, basically? So we really want to learn about you, because the idea, you can change the idea. You can work on a different projects as needed. So, and then we are limited by selecting only 4 students. This is done by Stanford. They only accept cohort of 4 students. And part of it is because this program is becoming very popular internationally. We have many students who come from India, from South America, from Africa, from all around the world, basically. And if each university wants to send 15 or 20 students, it's impossible to fit them even into the program. So they have limited every school to 4 students. The cohorts are 4. So we have to select 4. And so far, the students we have selected as UIF, they have been really good. And they have done something that we are proud of it. For example, Christina mentioned about that a response to the Alana students who want to study STEM, and they're running into some challenges in terms of support. We are trying to create support for that. The group before that, the fourth cohort, they created something about mental health. And they were supposed to be very active right now because of pandemic. Unfortunately, they are not as visible on campus as we were planning, but it was having a green brigade bandana. So you wear some bandana that identify you have gone through training. And if anyone else is interested and they have a need to talk to someone, not that they are an expert, but they could direct people to the right people in our campus to provide support. We have had students who have created a makerspace, help to make a belt makerspace, the makerspace in the library. They help with that one, in the residence halls and those kind of things. So they have a number of different projects that is going to last even after the students graduate. So we look for those kind of students who can do that. So basically your job is to apply. It's not very extensive, the application part. Hopefully if you are a finalist, we'll contact you to interview, and then we select a cohort of 4.
Yeah, so let's just go back to that application process, because that's the first thing in front of you all. It's due March 15th, so you have about a week. And all you have to do is a video. It's a 3-minute video. And again, as Dr. Ragani said, this is a chance for us to get to know you. It's a chance for you to show your creativity. You're going to want to pitch us an idea, but also know that it doesn't have to be the idea, and that probably, as Christina explained, once you meet with the rest of the group, you're going to kind of negotiate and continue to brainstorm and iterate. And once you go through the training that you get online from Stanford, you're going to get new ideas about how to come up with better ideas, new processes, right? So all that'll change. So don't feel like you have to come up with like the best thing in your video. Just like share something of yourself and sort of a little window into how you think or how you might approach it. And Christina, do you have tips for the video? Because I think you're probably all getting more used to doing that kind of thing now that we're all remote, but it can be kind of intimidating. Like, what am I supposed to say? So Christina, how did you approach that?
I would say, like, being honest, it took me like maybe like 4 or more tries. Like, I just kind of just kept practicing as I was doing it. But I would say, like, just be natural, like don't force it or don't try to like act like too like not like yourself. Like, just be natural, because like they do want to see like your innovation, like your natural like ideas. Like, they don't want to see like something that's like forced or like you're not like comfortable. So like just be yourself, because that's the most comfortable you, is like when you're being yourself. And like don't stress it, because like you guys are both great. Like, I'm sure like you guys are both great, so it's no need to like stress it. And like the idea will speak for itself, so it's not really anything to stress, because your ideas, I'm sure, will speak for itself.
Can you both share, how did you find out about the program? Did we contact you, or how did this get on your radar?
I saw an email last week, but I had heard about it last year or last semester. But then when I got the email, I was like, oh, I should check this out a little more.
Good.
I also just heard about it through the email.
Great. So we emailed you all because you guys, other folks on campus, have already identified you guys as leaders. So you might also feel like, oh, I don't know if I'm a change maker, but if you've been identified and if you have the interest, then you have what it takes to go through the curriculum, and then as Christina said, you get a lot of experience in how to approach, how to work with an institution, how to take the right steps, how to work with your team in order to make something happen. And it's a lot of building blocks, and it's great practice for whatever you want to do in your future. Christina, anything else you think they should know before we close it up?
I would just say, like, if you are accepted, like just be prepared for the student training. Like sometimes it does feel like another class, like an extra class. So, it is something to be taken seriously because it's not like, oh, like I'm a part of UIF now, I don't have to really do much. I just have to wait around for the conference. Like they give you like a lot of like learning, but it was really helpful to me. Like the training, even though it was a bit much, like it was like as much as a regular class, kind of like it was a little less than like a regular class, but it was like a decent amount of work to do. Like I did learn a lot. So I learned a lot about leadership and innovation in general. So you will learn a lot, which is really good actually, because you can use these lessons that you learn from the program like later on throughout your life. So I think it's really good, but it is a little bit of work, but it really does set you up for your future in a great way.
Yeah. And I should add that usually, typically, so far it has been always like that. The online training starts usually about second week of September, and it goes for 6 weeks. And then once around the week 5 or so, you're going to have the UIF, so you present to the campus leaders. Our provost supports this. Our deans are supporting this program. So one thing that being a UIF does, it makes you, first of all, you can just introduce yourself as UIF, and immediately that within our campus opens the door for you. And you have basically access to our provost and deans, basically, when you have an idea. So that really helps you to move your ideas forward, and makes it easier for you. If you want to change something in our campus, that makes it much easier for you to do it when you have someone like our provost supporting this program. So that's one of the positive thing about this. But you're going to present to provost and the deans. We're going to invite group of leaders and relevant people. For example, if your idea has to do with library, then we'll invite people in library. Or if it has to do with career services, then we will invite people from career services and so on and so forth. So the relevant offices, people in our campus, they will be there. The other thing that it will really help you is that to understand the needs, what is happening in our campus, what program does exist in relationship to the program idea that you have, and then where is the gap that needs attention, and then you can work on that. But to understand that gap, you have to understand the campus and programs and this and that. So it gives you, we call it landscape analysis. You go through landscape analysis, and that's really allows you to understand the campus much better before you start actually implementing anything.
Those are lots of details you don't need to worry about yet, but that's what you'll get into all of that. I think the thing, we haven't talked very much about the meetup. Sadly, Christina didn't get to go because of COVID. We hope it happens this year. Dr. Rugani and I have both been able to go and accompany students. It's a really, really awesome experience. And I think makes the training that you get is worth it regardless, but it's really the icing on the cake to get to go out to the Bay Area and meet up with all these other students who've been through the same training you have, and they do lots of exercises and interactive fun things. And then you get to tour some different companies in Silicon Valley, like we went to Google, and also like just be a tourist in San Francisco a little bit and check out the city. So that's a real highlight, and hopefully it will happen. But as you guys know, these are strange times, so we'll just have to see how that goes. But unless there are other specific questions, I think we should probably give you all your time back. But I'll turn again to Alexa and Ashley just to find out if, probably the questions for Christina, but you can ask us too, if there's anything else you want to know.
Does the conference does it typically take place during the school year, or like over the summer or break?
It's during March, usually during March. Every year it has been during March. They used to have two of them before. They combined it to one. One was international, and they hold that one in like India and places like that. But now they've combined. It has been March, but last year obviously it was canceled because of COVID. I had my tickets bought and ready to go basically, and right at about this time that COVID happened. It was scheduled for last year. Was about 22nd, 23rd, about that time. So it was just a couple of weeks before that, and it was canceled. This year they have canceled this year also because COVID, for obvious reason. They are optimistic with all the vaccination, all those things, that by next year we can do that one. But nothing is 100% guaranteed, as you know, at this point.
So they do it like before spring break in March. Anything else, you two? And you also, if you think of anything, or as you're working on your videos, if you want to ask, I will volunteer Christina. I'm sure you could probably email her. And you can also reach out to us. Do you want to, Christina, do you want to put your info in the chat?
Sure.
That would be great. And I think you guys probably know how to find the rest of us.
And you have the link to the page, right? It's in the chat.
Yeah, Mauricio put that up.
And yeah, that was when I was there. My picture is there, so with the UIFs. So it was a lot of fun. So we're at Google at that day.
So we hope to see your applications. Tell your friends, nothing wrong with bringing your friend in with you if we can both get in. And you guys are both first years, I assume, right? Yeah, okay, perfect. And we really appreciate your interest, and we'd love to get you involved. It's one of the premier programs that we offer through the innovation initiatives on campus. So you really would be at the forefront of what's happening there. And like almost everything, you'll get out of it what you put into it. So Christina, like, she shows up. She was at I remember when you showed up for the information meeting. It was actually in person, Christina, remember? Sorry about the dog. But we'd be really excited to get to know you guys and work with you and support you in this journey.
And I should say that on this International Women's Day, majority of our UIF have been women, and so I'm so proud of them. So they have done a great job. So happy International Women's Day, and hopefully you'll apply for the UIF.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Christina, thanks so much for joining.
No problem.
Great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Bye.